ॐ ॐ भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं तस्तनूभिः व्यशेमद्देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutation to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all, thou art all, thou assumest all forms, thou art the origin and goal of all, thou art the self of all, thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss. Salutations unto thee. May the world be peaceful, may the wicked become gentle, may all creatures think of mutual welfare, may their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Today we shall discuss about these two companions that came with Sri Ramakrishna. The incarnation of God comes with some helpmates, companions, which are, after all, his, uh, in a way, playmates in this play of uh, this mm, divine incarnation, assuming the body, the God assuming the body to fulfill a purpose. And to fulfill that purpose, there are these some special uh, playmates that come with him. So here we have Sri Ramakrishna along with Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda. It is the firm belief in our order, and I heard uh, so many of our senior Swamis speaking about it. You can read that in many books that how they thought and respected all three as one: Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. It forms like the Trinity, that they are three in one, or one as three. So let us begin with prayers to them. Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnan Jagadgurum Padpadme Tayoh Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye सच्चित् सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Both these Sanskrit verses can be uh, summarized in English like this, that uh, first one, that I salute Holy Mother Janani, means mother, who is and also the world teacher Sri Ramakrishna, and uh, take shelter at their holy feet. And then the other is salutations to Vivekananda. So it is that who is the Satchit Sukhaswarupaya. He is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss, and has assumed his wonderful human form to dispel the torments of the world. So this is the these two companions, and it is surprising to see the tremendous contrast in their appearance. Holy Mother, a illiterate, very traditional uh, woman, brought up in a very small, tiny village in Bengal, and was as such very much uh, into the traditional way of living by those women there. So, no, not much education, steeped in the beliefs of the people there at that time, and was upholder of all that. Uh, that is how he was brought up. On the other hand, Narendra, who became then Swami Vivekananda, he was a rebellious young man, grew up more or less, challenging all the established religious ideas, the belief systems, was very highly educated. I don't mean just the academic university education that is provided. He, of course, was a very brilliant university student, but his education was not confined by the curriculum that was taught at the university schools and universities. Apart from that, on his own, he had studied so much. In fact, uh, many of those topics that he studied was not part of his uh, that college curriculum. He studied advanced mathematics. That was not really part of his school studies. He studied medical science. That was also not part of his studies. He was a student of law. As far as the formal education was concerned at the school, he was finally he was a student of law. He took up some other subjects like literature and other thing, some history, philosophy. But his philosophical studies in philosophy uh, were far beyond what was being taught in the school. He studied at depth all the Western and Eastern philosophies to such an extent that he was able to uh, point out to Spencer uh, a flaw in one of his books. He wrote letter to Spencer, and Spencer acknowledged that yes, in the next edition I will correct it. So uh, there is actually no a subject that he has not touched in his academic studies. A tremendous scholar, a debater of great skills, and interested in the sports uh, and uh, the new ideas about religion and so forth. But his main attention turned to uh, can God be seen? The ultimate test is the experience that can one really experience God, or it is just matter of theorizing and philosophizing. He was not at all satisfied by such endeavors. I want an answer. Can God be realized, experienced? Can God be seen? So that brought him to Sri Ramakrishna. Holy Mother came to Sri Ramakrishna through marriage at a very tender age. She was about 4 or 5 years. Sri Ramakrishna was about 24 years. And to give a quick uh, background of this, Sri Ramakrishna was intensely immersed into various spiritual practices, and then, as it happened, his interests were not at all what the common people's interests are. So, and that was considered as derangement. Whatever we common people do, if somebody is not doing that, hmm, something wrong here. And mother was very much concerned, Sri Ramakrishna's mother, that he had already lost father. So she thought that something needs to be done to, bring my dear son back on the track. His brain seems to have deranged due to lot of whatever you may call religious spiritual practices. So all those accounts that what he was doing in Dakshineshwar there had reached uh, with lot of exaggeration. That is what happens, that he has become now completely insane. He has even discarded. He takes away his sacred thread. That was a very sacrilegious act to remove the sacred thread, and he moves about like a madman. He eats from the heap of garbage that is thrown out there, uh, and all such things were spread. Was, of course, the truth in it too, but it was given with a lot of exaggeration and with added spices. So it is. Um, Mother became very, very anxious that what can be done now. So she thought that uh, marriage will be a very good remedy, because when he gets married, somehow that idea is fixated in people that, at this age, now he must be having some emotional issues of, not having any partner, and so it would be good if we can get him married. So Sri Ramakrishna, when he heard about it, he did not object to that. He said, okay, it is whatever. He knew that whatever that was going to happen. So he, in fact, suggested, uh, when no bride was being found, uh, it was suggested that there is, in the village of Jairambati, there is this that Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay's daughter, uh, she is actually earmarked for this. So it is. So it was verified and found that yes, that can be done. Only problem was her age was only 4 or 5, but it was not very unusual those days to marry a girl at that age. So they another problem was that of the dowry and so forth. Dowry in the reverse way, not the tradition was that as if this that the girl's family, bride's family would pay dowry to the groom's family, but somehow or other it was completely reversed in this case. The groom's family had to pay dowry to the bride's family. From that time's, evaluation, it was a huge dowry. So that was done. And then Sarada Devi came in to life of Sri Ramakrishna. And to make the long story short, uh, she remembered that how later on, when they Sarda Devi grew a little older, as when Sri Ramakrishna came to Kamarpukur, his birthplace, Sarda Devi was living there, just about 10 years old or so that time. So, and she remembered how Sri Ramakrishna taught her so many things, right from how to put a thread in the eye of the needle. It is matter again, that Sri Ramakrishna used to tell about bringing all our different these propensities, the mind that is digressing in many directions, it has to be brought together. So he used to give this example. If the thread that is to be put through the eye of the needle, if it has many shoots, that then it won't go there. Uh, so first you have to bring all that together, holding the end of the thread uh, in fingers in a pinch, and then bringing all of them together, and then you can put it in. So Holy Mother remembered that many other things that of how to manage various things. uh, Sri Ramakrishna taught her. And then she comes to Dakshineshwar, hearing that her husband has become a complete madcap. So, uh, to verify all those exaggerated accounts, that she decided to travel to Dakshineshwar from her parental home in Jairambati. And when she came, she was uh, reassured that her husband is not insane. He is a very sane, loving husband. But uh, she also realized that he is not a man of the ordinary worldly nature. There is this wonderful incident that happened uh, soon afterwards, to fast forward this story, that once Sri Ramakrishna asked her that, well, if you, from my point of view, I have absolutely no interest in leading that worldly life of uh, this physical enjoyment. Absolutely not. But I am married to you. You have right over this body out of marriage. And so, if you are intent on having that kind of pleasure, I can't say no to you. So, what do you think? And then Holy Mother, without the least hesitation, said, "No, I don't want to drag you down into this worldly life. I will learn from you. I have come here to serve you, to learn from you, to be a helpmate to you." And so, Sri Ramakrishna later said about this incident, look, had she not been so pure, no, it is, you have to take it with, in the proper perspective, that Sri Ramakrishna had not even the slightest desire, even as Swami Sardananda and others have mentioned, not even the smell of a desire there. So it is that Sri Ramakrishna is saying, had she not been so pure, I don't know what would have happened to my resolve to lead a pure life. So, anyway, then Holy Mother dedicated herself to this service of Sri Ramakrishna, who was by that gradually becoming well known amongst the people, and the devotees had started coming to see him, and Holy Mother was serving them. It is, she was staying just that Nahabat, uh, close to the room of Sri Ramakrishna. There is, still you can go and see a very small room there, and she used to spend her time there, cooking for Sri Ramakrishna and the devotees coming there, and other household chores. And as a woman, she was very, very uh, shy. She wouldn't go and sit. That was not even considered possible those days. Even if Holy Mother wanted to do it, she didn't want, but even if she wanted to do it, that was not sanctioned by the customs then, that she would just go and sit amongst all the men folk or other visitors who would come to meet Sri Ramakrishna. So uh, she would stand behind a closed door, and watching and hearing, that she made a hole there through which to watch. And once Sri Ramakrishna told to his nephew Hriday, "Hey Hriday, that hole is getting a bit bigger, you see." So that is how the connection uh, grew. So the devotees coming to Sri Ramakrishna included many young people in the latter days, and one amongst them whom Sri Ramakrishna tremendously loved was this Narendranath. And Holy Mother, according to the likings of these devotees, would start cooking what would be appreciated by those devotees. And when Naren would come, she would start uh, making those flat breads, thick flat breads, rotis, thick rotis, and with that the uh, the soup of gram lentils or chickpea lentils. So that was what Narendranath was given to eat at that place. So and she knew the greatness of Narendranath. So Narendranath also gradually became aware that she is not just Sri Ramakrishna's wife. Mm, it is, he was tremendously observant, and saw that here is the manifestation of power. Here is the, if Sri Ramakrishna is God incarnate, Holy Mother too is the God incarnate. the power, the Shakti incarnate, and has covered her appearance with all this uh, rustic way of living as if she is ignorant. But he therefore writes to his brother disciples from America. I will read that part to you. Uh, this book by Swami Chaitanananda has a full chapter on Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda. That and there he uh, this is a quote from Swami Vivekananda's letter, one letter written to his brother disciples from America. And I'm quoting now: You have not yet realized how precious Mother is. People will not understand her now, but they will gradually. Brother, there will be no salvation of the world without the help of the divine power. Why is it that our country is the weakest and most backward of all countries? Because Shakti is held in dishonor here. Without the grace of Shakti, nothing will be accomplished. What do I find in America and Europe? The worship of Shakti, uh, the worship of power. Yet they worship her ignorantly through sense gratification. Imagine then a lot of good will be achieved when they worship her with purity, looking upon her as their mother. I am coming to the understanding to understand things every day. My insight is opening out more and more. And there comes a very powerful statement: let Ramakrishna disappear. That does not frighten me, but it will be a calamity if people forget Mother. Don't be angry with me. He is telling his brother disciples. That don't be angry with me because he is making uh, these statements that nobody imagined that kind of understanding about Holy Mother. So I again quote: Don't be angry with me. None of you have understood Mother. Her grace upon me is 100,000 times greater than that of the Master. About Master, uh, about Mother, I am a little fanatic. I can do anything if she gives order. I shall give a sigh of relief when you purchase a piece of land and install this living Durga there. He calls the Holy Mother as the living goddess Durga, the embodiment of all powers there. So, uh, brother, when I think of Mother, I say to myself, who is this Ramakrishna? Imagine, when you see that tremendous respect, adoration that uh, Vivekananda had for Sri Ramakrishna, and still now what he is saying, who is this Ramakrishna? Who? He continues, uh, who is this Ramakrishna? I say this because of my fanaticism. Whether Ramakrishna was God or man, you may say whatever you like. But, brother, shame upon you, shame upon him who is not devoted to Mother. This is how uh, Vivekananda's attitude towards Holy Mother was. It is, and he says to all his brother disciples that you have not understood. Actually, none of you have understood. It is a very emphatic statement that he makes. Uh, there were some disciples of Sri Ramakrishna at that time who were engaged in giving personal service or attending on Holy Mother. Even about them, he says that you have not understood Holy Mother. By her grace, I now am getting a little glimpse of what she is. This has a reference that when first this Narendranath, at that time his name he had assumed sannyasa, but his name was not Vivekananda at that time. And so he was known as Vividishananda or some such names that he was changing with. So he wanted to now go traveling about India, seeing the condition of people, and then find out what to do. He was not till then seeing the what mission Sri Ramakrishna has actually designed for him, what he is going to do. That he was still in dark about it. And so uh, because that incident is there, that in the last days of Sri Ramakrishna's earthly life, uh, at Kasipur, that Sri Ramakrishna asked him, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And he, Narendranath, replies that, "Well, I want to get just immersed all the time in that bliss of samadhi." And certainly Sri Ramakrishna would have been very happy if some ordinary disciple, devotee would have said this, that I don't want anything else, I want samadhi. How many would be able to say that, you see? But it is, but Narendranath saying this, he saw that Narendranath is capable of that, but he scolded Narendranath, "Fie upon you! I was imagining that you will be like a huge banyan tree under whose uh, cool shade so many who are scorched by the heat of this worldly life, heat of this samsara, they will come to find this solace there. And now you want to say, you say, I want to merge in samadhi. No, there is this higher stage than nirvikalpa samadhi, higher state than that. Now there is no higher state for ordinary people than that. But Narendra Vivekananda had a completely different mission. Sri Ramakrishna was making him gradually aware of it. And same thing was with Holy Mother. Holy Mother also uh, was told time and again that you have to do a lot. Pointing to himself, he had said, "What this has done, after all, you have to do a lot more." Uh, and he was, in a way, training Holy Mother for that mission gradually. So, uh, she, in a way, not formally, never formally, she became a governing power of this band of young disciples of Sri Ramakrishna when Sri Ramakrishna was no more in the body. But Sri Ramakrishna has ensured before that that Holy Mother is getting ready. She has all the necessary material to get into that role of being the leader of this new monastic dispensation. So, uh, both were getting ready to fulfill their mission. Vivekananda approaches her, saying that I want your blessings. I am going to now on a pilgrimage. I will come only after I find my mission. When I accomplish something, then only I will come back again to see you. Now, Holy Mother, in inside she knew that, but now she was not very uh, eager to let him go that into this world, uh, roaming all by himself with so many difficulties. So uh, she said, okay, my child, go, but uh, take care. And then she told Akhandananda that, well, this is our greatest treasure, our greatest treasure, pointing out to Vivekananda. Now, please see that he is protected. So, that is another episode, that wandering of Vivekananda and Akhandananda tenaciously following him to catch up with him. Vivekananda wanted to go alone, not taking any of his uh, monastic companions. But mother told Akhandananda. So it is. So then Vivekananda left that with Holy Mother's advice, Holy Mother's blessings, and carrying it all in his bosom. And then, when it was decided that uh, this is about now 3 years that he is wandering all around these places in India, meeting as people of all different strata and mixing with them, understanding their problems, uh, as it were the uh, pulse of the population was being sensed by him. His feet were walking on on the land, but like they were like sensors, feeling the pain, the need of the whole land. And he then got the message that he should go to the Parliament of Religions in Chicago. Now, everything was getting arranged. He also got a vision of Sri Ramakrishna telling him to go. It was a wonderful vision that he saw Sri Ramakrishna walking on the sea, mm, and asking him to follow him. That, yes, as if he is going there to the west, to the Europe and America, and follow him there. But he was not satisfied with that, didn't think that that is a command enough to go. He was such a person, he would test everything, not just going by, oh, I felt like that. He would test, because as we were discussing in yesterday's retreat, that there are many these wishful thinkings, and that appear to us as visions, that I wish something like that should happen, and then I start seeing it in dreams, and I take that as the command. So he wanted a confirmation. So he wrote to mother. See whom he selected to write with this permission. He did not write to any of his other brother disciples. He wrote only to Holy Mother about this idea. Should I go? Uh, we sing that very nice song about mission that he says, ask their mother, mother, shall I go? And then came mother's reply, yes, go. All that is being arranged there is for you. So that is what is now we see left of that 1893 Parliament of Religions. That Swami Vivekananda's, that thunderous speech there and the after effects, the ripples of that, which are still noticeable, not only noticeable, their influence is growing. So it is Holy Mother gave Vivekananda the consent that you go. And then Vivekananda later on says that with her blessings, this time he did not have to jump like in the ancient days in Ramayana. You see, the Hanuman, the Mahavir Hanuman, he jumped and crossed the sea. He said, this time I used the steamers to do that. I didn't have to jump. So, and thus he goes there. And from there he is writing this letter. He says that that part is not quoted here, but then he uh, said that I first want to settle mother and her daughters in that kind of monastery or convent, to use the uh, known Christian or European terms, English terms, that a convent has to be started for them first. He says the father and his sons can wait. Yeah, it is. But let first there be this monastery for women. So, although it didn't work out exactly like that in a formal way, although in a non-formal way, informal way, uh, there were the women living in in a kind of monastic life, but there was no monastic order established immediately. That came much later. So anyway, uh, Swami Vivekananda kept on speaking about these things and wanted his disciples, women disciples from the West, like mm, Sister Nivedita, uh, then Sarah Bull, then Sister Christine, to meet Holy Mother. And there are wonderful narrations in Nivedita's letters, how that great meeting between them, uh, Holy Mother and Nivedita, went about. I don't want to discuss that here, but another beautiful incident that I would like to mention here, that is, uh, Swami Vivekananda had gone to Kashmir with his brother disciples, that it is uh, Yogananda, Adbhutananda, and Niranjanananda. And they all went there, and then also some Western women were also with them there. Swami Yogananda, uh, this is what Swami Yogananda said about the women's mutt, Swamiji's ideas about that. And I am quoting that what is recorded by one who was there listening to the narration by Swami Yogananda. Swami Yogananda said Swamiji wants to establish a monastery for women sannyasins under the direct guidance of the mother. All the women disciples of the master would be able to live together in the proposed mutt for women, and other women, including even those from the West who desire to lead a life of renunciation and meditation, may come and live there and derive immense benefit by coming into intimate contact with the living ideals and hallowed association of the women disciples. The mother's glowing personal example of purity and character, her spiritual uh, talks and teachings based on her own realizations, and her ennobling love and care will inspire and elevate the inmates of the proposed mutt, at the same time instilling into them a new force that will awaken their dormant energy. They will be transformed entirely and endowed with a new vision and realizations of their own Shakti, the potential, so that they too can work fearlessly for the highest good of humanity. So, uh, and then Sri Yogananda continues, Swamiji told me with great emotion, our mother, that is Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi. Our mother is a vast reservoir of spiritual energy, though outwardly calm like a deep ocean. Her advent marks the beginning of a new era in the history of India. The ideals that she lives and teaches will not only spiritualize the efforts for the emancipation of women in India, but will also penetrate and influence the minds and hearts of women all the world over. Mother represents the highest expression of womanhood, especially in India. So he then says that how this motherhood is the great ideal for women. So it is, and this motherhood, Holy Mother has shown that it is a very different kind of motherhood. It is not a genetic or physical connection at all. That is a very limited idea of motherhood. That you can be mother of say one, two, sometimes maybe 10 children, 12 children. There is the stories in these Mahabharata and all that Gandhari had 100 children. That is not understandable, but still you don't know any historical example of a woman becoming actually a mother of 100 children. So, but in a non-genetic way, you can see Holy Mother, mother of millions, that it is mother of all. That is what she is. So there is no creature in this world who is deprived of this mother, because the connection is different. That it is not doesn't have any physical limitation. So that is the ideal of motherhood in our scriptures. When we look at that as Shakti, the source of all power. Uh, Now there are few more wonderful references here. Swami Yogananda, those days, who was narrating this, was in charge of taking care of Holy Mother. That responsibility later, when Yogananda became very sick, that uh, thing came to Swami Trigunatītānanda, and then finally to Swami Sardananda. So we see here that In October 1898, Swami Vivekananda returned from a pilgrimage in Kashmir and visited Holy Mother at uh, 10 over 2 Bospara Lane, Calcutta. When uh, Swamiji bowed down to the mother blessed him, touching his head with her right hand. He said to her in a rather peaked voice, "Mother, how slight is your master's power! A Muslim fakir cursed me because one of his disciples came to me. He said that on account of stomach trouble, I would have to leave the place in 3 days. And so it happened. Your master could not protect me." So he is complaining like that to Holy Mother. Holy Mother answered through Krishna Lal, who was there. Holy Mother was kind of shy, was not freely speaking with men folks. That she said, "This is the result of psychic powers that the fakir has acquired. You must accept the manifestation of such powers. The master believed in them. He accepted all traditions." Swamiji, still upset, replied, "Whatever you may say, mother, I don't agree with you. The master is powerless." Holy Mother teased him, "My son, how can you deny the master's power? Even the tuft of your hair is held in his hand." What Holy Mother reminded Swamiji of the master's love for him. He bowed down with tearful eyes and left after having prasad. There are other descriptions of Swami Vivekananda as a world conquering monk, first going to meet Holy Mother after coming back from the tour of the West. And it is described that as he was going there in the boat, he was again and again pouring the Ganges water on his head. It is sipping the Ganges water to purify, as it were, that he needs so much purification to go to this, as we recite in the hymn, Pavitrata Swarupinyai, the one who is of the nature of purity, Holy Mother. So he went there and was standing, trembling, trembling. Imagine, this uh, great Swami who instilled that courage, fearlessness, strength in the masses. That Vivekananda is standing before Holy Mother and trembling. He prostrated then before Holy Mother, and then stood and told others, "Go and prostrate before her, but don't touch her feet." He also did not touch her feet at that time. So, anyway, that was how their connection was. Holy Mother had this understanding that it is uh, Holy Mother was never tired of describing the greatness and struggle of the Master's disciples and their dependence on him. So, uh, she says, the disciples of Master accepted him only through examination. What an austere life they led at Baranagar monastery after his passing away. Niranjan and others often starved themselves. So he was very appreciative. He was very appreciative of all that. So uh, she was so sure that uh, through Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna is manifesting for the good of the world. There were many complaints that came to uh, her about that Vivekananda. He has brought all those new Western ideals. This is not the way Sri Ramakrishna would have carried on this work. He is not doing the right thing. Mother dispelled all those doubts. She narrated an incident, very inspiring and touching incident, friends, that one day she saw in a vision that it is that in the river Ganges, she saw Sri Ramakrishna getting into those waters and becoming one with those waters of Ganges there, became completely one with that. And from nowhere, Narendra came, picked up that water, and started throwing on all the people assembled there, saying, Jai Sri Ramakrishna. So, that is a very strong message that Sri Ramakrishna's uh, this power that Sri Ramakrishna became Ganges, and then that is now being distributed by Vivekananda. An incident happened uh, much after passing away of Swami Vivekananda. This incident also happened after passing away of Vivekananda. But this one is very touching incident that uh, there was the pictures of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda to be put in the shrine. Those days, Holy Mother's picture was not uh, put into the shrines that were open to public. So she was still in the body very shy, and she would not have liked this at all. So uh, some person, some devotee came and told, you know, this uh, Swami Shuddhananda. Those days, he was the general secretary or secretary of this thing. So, not general, Sardananda was general secretary, but then he was a disciple of Vivekananda. He was called Sudhir. So, he was arranging the pictures of Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. And then he kept at the same level. Just like you see now, Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda kept at the same level. And then this person, this disciple, didn't like it at all. Why they should be kept at the same level? That this Sudhir Maharaj should not have done like that. No, this Vivekananda's picture should be below that of Sri Ramakrishna. And he went and complained to Holy Mother. You know that what this Swami Shuddhananda did? Like this. Is it right? And Holy Mother said that, oh, Sudhir did not do the right thing. Hmm. Sudhir did not do the right thing, but in a different sense. Had Sri Ramakrishna been alive, he would have kept Narendranath on his head. So that is how uh, she looked upon Vivekananda. Then there is the very well known incident that all these service activities that Vivekananda had started, many had opposition to that, especially the one big critic of that was Mahendranath Gupta, M. They, from whom we get the great book Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He thought that that is a Western idea. Sri Ramakrishna said, what's going to happen with all this philanthropy work? To realize God is the ideal. But when Holy Mother went to see the uh, the hospital, the service center, as it was called and now also called sevashrama. So the place of service where there is no image of God. The patients who come there are the gods, the images of God. They are to be served as a service rendered to God. It is not philanthropy, very different from that. It is not serving those people, but serving God in these images of God. So that is the ideal there. And uh, Holy Mother went there and was very happy to see the work there. And she said, "Oh, this is Sri Ramakrishna's work. This is the work of Sri Ramakrishna." And she, at that time, uh, gave a donation, a 10 rupee that bill, 10 rupees note was given as the donation from Holy Mother, and that note has been still preserved, there, that it is the gift of Holy Mother, the blessings of Holy Mother. That note was never encashed. It is framed and kept there. And at that time, in that group, M also was there. Somebody ran and told him this incident, and then he said, bowing down, that mother is the last word. Mother is the last word. I take back all my objections. So uh, then Swami Vivekananda uh, had started a center for the practice of non-dual. His message was all that of non-duality, but there were the dualistic methods that were adopted to reach this non-dual stage. But one place he wanted where there won't be any image worship and no images at all. So in Mayavati in Himalayas, he established that center. And then uh, somebody didn't like this idea, that what he has done. So a letter was written by that Swami to Holy Mother complaining that this is not what Sri Ramakrishna wanted. And look at this, there is no picture of Sri Ramakrishna there, no worship happening. What is this? And Holy Mother writes back, look at this, this so called unlettered village woman, uh, seemingly just following all the traditional ways of a widow. Hmm. She writes back, Sri Ramakrishna was non duality, he was Advaita, he was non duality. So you all also, we all are therefore the practitioners of non duality. What Naren has done is right. So there is no further argument now possible about it. So there are so many incidents that we can think about it. I had marked many, but then we don't have so much time. But you can get the spirit, you can see this in many, many different wonderful books. All these incidents bringing that how these two, Vivekananda and Holy Mother, manifested as the combined ideal of uh, taking Sri Ramakrishna's message forward to help people in the East and the West, all over, young or old, whatever particular religion they may belong to elevate all of them towards the ultimate emancipation. Thank you, friends. My salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. Just meditate on this idea for 30 seconds, and then, in case if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Any question? That Abhishek is there. When Abhishek is here, there is no dearth of questions. Earlier, Abhishek, it was Charlie who used to ask question every time.
All right. So, number of people who lived that time in poverty and also ignorance and a lot of other problems were mostly confined to India itself, and then the African continent, then China. Um, Today, also, it continues to be the same. The West, even in that time and even in today, is at least much better off in a superficial way, which may be, like you all once said, that is sometimes a reflection of your own going ahead. Now, in that case, why was the preaching um, not done in these in African or Middle East or China, and why was the West chosen to preach this movement is not clear.
Yes, Swami Vivekananda wrote in one of his letters that the West, it is the message that is given to the powerful, as is gets spread faster. So he writes in his letter. It is not that somebody reported. It is in his letter, in his own words, that he says, "When I give one blow in America, it reverberates all over like thousand such blows." So therefore, he chose this. Second thing is that as the movement spread, now you can see that there are centers in Africa. There are no centers in China because of the political reasons. But lot of Chinese, they are reading Swami Vivekananda's works. There are translations of complete works in Chinese also, Mandarin. So it is the message is spreading there too. It was when it became possible to start work in Africa, the message was taken there as well. It was taken to the southern American continent, where it was abject poverty then and now as well, like Argentina, Brazil, those areas, they are not as well off, not so rich. So it is as it is possible, as and when Argentina Center was started way back in 1920s. So gradually it takes time, even for a flower. All petals do not open simultaneously. There is a way that they gradually start unfolding. So uh, let us uh, imagine that how the global spread of these ideals is going to spread all over, not only over the world. Maybe if there are human societies founded in other planets, other places, there also this message is sure to spread. Thank you. Yes, please.
If Swamiji wanted a convent or monastery for women, why didn't it happen the way he wanted it to?
Well, that is a good question that I will have to ask Swamiji. Uh, Not that it did not happen, but many times the thought needs some time to get enough strength. It was not in the social psyche to have such a women's smut at that time. Certain things were started already, as Swami Vivekananda had written about the Gauri Ma. She was a monastic disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. that Gauri Ma. So uh, some women uh, followed that ideal by joining her order. So it is still running. So it is Gauri Ma. And then there were the disciples of Holy Mother, some women like, they, her companions, Golap Ma, Yogin Ma, and others, they inspired others, and it was the organization didn't start, but many were becoming monastics in those days. Many women had become monastics those days, not in an orderly fashion. It started in the uh, maybe it was planned like that in the Holy Mother's birth centenary year. Yeah. Yes, yes, Rupak. Rupak rarely asks questions. What happened him today? Huh?
Yeah, already you covered that Sri M was having some objection on this work,
Yeah.
and I feel that till today this kind of objection is there in community, especially India. They keep on thinking why these people are coming to join mission and wasting their time and effort and their life on this work. So what is your thought on that? I mean, still that opposition is kind of continuing actually and growing probably. I don't know.
No, this objection is not growing. Let me give you some factual evidence. I agree that even now, among some traditional monastic order, there is a resistance to this idea of work is worship, or service is a way of spiritual practice. But it is much less. And in spite of some vocal objections, if you see how the things have moved, let me give you some examples. In Kankhal, when the Sevashrama was started by Vivekananda's disciples, uh, this Kalyanananda and Nishchayananda, in while Vivekananda was still in body, that uh, and they were doing all this service work in that area, which is considered the stronghold of traditional monastic, these monasteries and traditions. They are all there, very strong. And then they decided, they said that you are not real monks. They criticized them. Not only that, they told everybody, don't give alms to this. They are not real swamis at all. They are not real monks. They are scavenger swamis, because they are working like in the hospital serving patients and all that. Years rolled on, decades rolled on, and in 1963, all those orders who at that time opposed this kind of setting up hospitals, many of them have already set up hospitals. Also, they all contributed, came together, and uh, put a wonderful marble statue of Vivekananda, donated by all these orders, these akhadas, together, at the that Sevashrama. One can go and see that. At that time, this was the issue that, well, a spiritual organization will have only spiritual thing, nothing else, no service. Now you will not find any spiritual order or a temple worth name which does not have a service component. You couldn't have thought about it like, say, Tirupati, one of the richest and most visited temples. What it has now, the temple is there, people are visiting there. There is a university, there is a hospital, and so forth. There is lot of charity work that is being done there. So every single this temple is now has this component of worshipping God in human beings. So it is certainly the situation is much changed now. Still there are, of course, that a great Vedantin Swami. I used to go to learn with him. He was not critical, but he was a bit skeptic about how one can get spiritual progress by doing such work. So, but when he saw, his opinions changed. That yes, here are people that they actually do this work, and also through that work they achieve spiritual progress. So it is an ongoing process, but a lot has been achieved in that way. Thank you. Any question upstairs? No. Okay. So uh, coming Sunday there is the celebration of birthday of Holy Mother from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you are all invited to join. Uh, Tuesday, Friday classes will go on as usual at 7:30 p.m. Tuesdays the topic is Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Fridays it is the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam, all the other daily meditations, prayers, and all that. Even morning and evening they will also go on as usual. You are all welcome to join that. We will now have Arati and then supper. Oh, closing prayers. What you had to tell today? What Charlie was doing? May the divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.
for the world's deliverance. Your life's offered for the world's deliverance, saving us from darkness and fear. Renouncer of all lust and lucre, therefore you were always spurning sensual life. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Grant to us pure love for you. You're fearless and you're free from doubting, with your mind very firmly resolved. Causeless refuge of your devotee, causeless refuge of your devotee, renouncing caste and birth. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even sightedness. You give love and even sightedness to remove our anguish here. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even sightedness. You give love and even sightedness to remove our anguish here. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heartscape. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heartscape. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heartscape. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heartscape. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. These are all the sounds of Vedanta. These are all the sounds of Vedanta. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for fire worship divine. Hare Hare, fire worship divine. Shiva Shiva, fire worship divine. Breaker of all our worldly bondage, and adored by all, we adore you too. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Auspicious and blessed, graciousness sublime, all noble ends you give to us, granting us refuge, all seeing God. O Mother Divine, Allah, creation, preservation, dissolution are your power, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence. O Mother Divine, our love to you. We come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, God. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Victory, Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Jai Shri Ram Devi Jai. Jai Shri Sarda Devi Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda ki Jai. Jai Shri Buddhadev Jai. Jai Shri Jesus Christ Jai.